welcome. Across the vast lands of North America, indigenous tribes have passed down sacred stories, prophecies of balance, warning, and renewal. These are not just tales of the past. They are living messages meant for all of us right now. Among these powerful teachings is the Seven Generations Prophecy of the Ojibwe people, a vision that transcends time and borders. It calls on future generations to remember the ways of their ancestors, to care for the earth, and to uphold their sacred responsibility as protectors of life. The Seven Generations Prophecy teaches that the decisions we make today will echo through the lives of those who come after us, 7 generations into the future. It reminds us that we are part of a great chain, bound by love, duty, and respect. Many believe that we are now living in the time of this prophetic generation, a moment of great choice, great danger, and great opportunity. Will we walk the path of healing? Or will we continue down the road of destruction? The Ojibwe people, also known as the Anishinaabe, are one of the largest and most enduring indigenous nations in North America. Their communities stretch across the Great Lakes region, deep into Canada, and through parts of the northern United States. Among their most treasured teachings is the Seven Generations Prophecy, a powerful vision woven into their cultural and spiritual fabric. Unlike a written scripture, this prophecy is a living, breathing oral tradition, carefully preserved and passed down by elders and storytellers across generations. The prophecy teaches that 7 generations after the arrival of European settlers, a time that brought colonization, forced displacement, and deep wounds to indigenous lifeways, a new people would emerge. This future generation would carry within them the spiritual strength and ancient memory to walk once again in the footsteps of their ancestors. They would be called to revive what had been nearly lost, their languages, their ceremonies, their deep respect for the earth, and their sacred way of life in harmony with all living beings. But the prophecy is not just a hopeful return. It is a serious challenge. It speaks of a critical crossroads, a moment where humanity must choose. Will we continue down the path of materialism, exploitation, and environmental destruction? Or will we remember the sacred? Will we choose to walk gently upon the earth, to honor our connection to each other, to spirit, and to the land? The number 7 holds deep spiritual and cultural significance in Ojibwe cosmology, as well as in the teachings of many indigenous nations across North America. It is not simply a number, it is a sacred cycle, a guiding principle for living in balance with the world. One of the most important teachings tied to this is the concept of living with the awareness of 7 generations into the future. Indigenous governance, environmental care, and community decisions are traditionally made with this principle in mind. It's not about short-term gain. It's about ensuring that life remains sustainable, beautiful, and sacred for those who will walk the earth long after we are gone. This is more than cultural wisdom. It is a sacred duty. Every decision, whether it's cutting down a single tree, building a village, or creating laws, is meant to carry the weight of responsibility for future generations. The Seven Generations Prophecy speaks directly to this responsibility, but adds a critical timeline. It warns that after 7 generations of hardship, oppression, and disconnection from indigenous lifeways, the 7th generation would begin to awaken. This would be a time of memory returning. A time when the children of the ancestors would rise, reclaim their languages, restore the ceremonies, and rekindle their relationship with the earth. But the prophecy extends beyond indigenous nations. It is a call to all humanity. It invites us all to remember that we are caretakers, not owners, that our choices ripple through time, and that the healing of the earth is a shared responsibility, one that can begin with this generation. To truly grasp the weight of the 7 Generations Prophecy, we must first understand the generations of struggle and survival that came before it. When European settlers arrived in North America, indigenous peoples faced centuries of unimaginable hardship. There was violence, forced displacement, broken treaties, and the systematic theft of ancestral lands. The Ojibwe were among those uprooted from their homelands, pushed onto reservations, and caught in relentless efforts to erase their way of life. One of the most painful chapters in this history was the residential and boarding school era. Indigenous children were forcibly taken from their families and placed in schools designed to strip them of their identities. They were forbidden to speak their languages, practice their ceremonies, or even carry their traditional names. Generations grew up severed from their roots, burdened by trauma, silence, and disconnection. For many, the sacred songs, stories, and ceremonies that had guided their ancestors seemed on the verge of vanishing. And yet, the prophecy endured. It was carried quietly, like a glowing ember, by elders, dreamers, and wisdom keepers who refused to let it die. They believed the day would come when the memory would return, when the seventh generation would awaken, rise, and begin the work of restoration. That day, many say, is now. Today, many Indigenous leaders, scholars, and young people believe that the prophesied seventh generation has arrived. Across Ojibwe communities and among Indigenous nations throughout North America, there has been a powerful and visible cultural resurgence. Young people are learning ancestral languages that were once on the brink of extinction. Ceremonies, sacred songs, and traditional dances are being revived with new energy. The teachings about the sacredness of the land, the deep interconnectedness of all life, and the responsibility to future generations are being reclaimed, not as relics of the past, but as urgent wisdom for today. This awakening is not just cultural, it is active, it is bold, and it is global. Movements like Idle No More, the Water Protectors at Standing Rock, and the growing visibility of Indigenous environmental defenders are widely seen as the living fulfillment of the Seven Generations Prophecy. The seventh generation is not only remembering, they are rising, resisting, and calling the world to account. As the Earth now faces escalating crises, climate change, mass extinction, polluted waters, and the unchecked pursuit of profit, the teachings of the Ojibwe carry a prophetic weight that speaks to all people. The prophecy warns that the current path may lead to collapse and catastrophe, not just for Indigenous nations, but for all life on Earth. Yet it also offers a path of hope, a call to return to balance, sustainability, and sacred respect for the web of life. The question is, will we listen? Will we choose differently? Importantly, the Seven Generations Prophecy is not meant to be kept within the boundaries of the Ojibwe Nation. Many elders and wisdom keepers believe it is a gift for all humanity. The Ojibwe teach that all peoples, regardless of race, nation, or ancestry, will be called to make a choice. Will we continue to walk a path of destruction, consuming the earth's resources without care? Or will we turn, remember, and choose to walk in harmony with the earth, honoring the sacred balance of life? This is not just a question for Indigenous communities, it is a question for everyone. Some versions of the prophecy even speak of the coming together of the four colors of humanity: white, black, red, and yellow. They foretell a time when people from all walks of life will unite, not in conquest or power, but in humility, peace, and shared purpose. The seventh generation is not limited by bloodlines, it is a generation of all who hear the call to protect life. This vision is not isolated. It beautifully aligns with other Indigenous prophecies, like the Eagle and the Condor prophecy from South America, which speaks of a great reunion, a coming together of the peoples of the North and South to heal the earth and restore balance. Together, these ancient teachings call us to a global awakening. The question remains, will we rise to answer? The Seven Generations Prophecy is not only a warning, it is a promise of healing. It recognizes that the deep trauma inflicted over generations cannot be erased in a moment. The wounds of colonization, poverty, substance abuse, loss of language, and fractured identity continue to ripple through Indigenous communities. But the prophecy offers profound hope. It speaks of spiritual rebirth, of memory returning, and of the incredible resilience carried in the hearts, blood, and bones of the descendants. Healing, according to this prophecy, is not about simply going backward. It is about weaving together the wisdom of the past with the realities of the present. It is about building a future where cultural pride, environmental stewardship, and sacred relationships with the earth thrive side by side. Across North America, we see this healing in action. Language revitalization programs, land-based education, and the reawakening of ceremonies are becoming pillars of cultural survival and growth. Initiatives that teach traditional ecological knowledge, storytelling, and community leadership are helping Indigenous youth reclaim their rightful place as protectors and future leaders. The prophecy tells us that healing is not passive, it is an active, sacred journey. It is a call to rise, to remember, and to walk together toward a future where the old ways and new possibilities can stand side by side in harmony. In many ways, the Seven Generations Prophecy stands as a profound warning to the modern world, a world now teetering on the edge of ecological collapse. For generations, the Ojibwe and many Indigenous nations have taught that the earth is not just a resource, it is a living being. She is a mother who provides, nurtures, and sustains all her children. But when the earth is abused, when her waters are poisoned and her forests are burned, the damage is not isolated, it ripples across all life. Today, rising temperatures, mass extinctions, violent storms, burning forests, and polluted rivers are not just environmental issues. They are signs. Signs that the earth's patience is wearing thin. Signs that we have drifted dangerously out of balance. The prophecy challenges us to face an uncomfortable truth. The sickness in the earth is a reflection of the sickness in the human heart. Greed, disconnection, the abandonment of spiritual values. These have brought us here. But the Seven Generations Prophecy does not end in despair. It offers a path forward. It tells us that the seventh generation is rising with the power to choose differently. There is still time to heal. There is still time to restore balance. But the window is narrow. The question remains: will we recognize the warning in time? Will we walk the path of humility, respect, and restoration? The choice belongs to this generation. To us. The Seven Generations Prophecy is, at its core, a prophecy about choice. Ojibwe elders teach that the seventh generation will stand at a crossroads and face two distinct roads. One road offers material wealth, convenience, and the illusion of progress, but it is paved with spiritual emptiness, environmental destruction, and eventual collapse. The other road is harder. It demands humility, self-reflection, sacrifice, and a return to sacred teachings. But this road leads to life, to balance, and to the restoration of the earth. Each of us, individuals, communities, and nations, now stand at this crossroads. The decision is not distant or abstract. It is woven into the food we grow and eat. It is present in the energy we choose to use. It echoes in the laws we pass, the economies we build, and the stories we choose to tell our children. And most of all, it lives in the respect or disrespect we offer to the earth and to one another. In this way, the prophecy is not a relic of the past. It is alive. It moves in the rise of Indigenous youth leaders. It speaks through the growing global concern for sustainability. It beats in the hearts of those who remember that we belong to the land. The land does not belong to us. The choice remains before us. The time to decide is now. The Seven Generations Prophecy of the Ojibwe is not just an ancient story. It is a living call to action. It asks each of us to pause, to reflect on our place in the great circle of life, and to carefully consider the legacy we are shaping for those who will walk the earth long after us. It is an invitation to walk with reverence, to listen deeply to the wisdom of Indigenous peoples, and to remember that healing the earth is impossible without healing ourselves. Whether or not we are the prophesied seventh generation is not a question for tomorrow, it is a question for now. The answer will not be written in history books alone. It will be written in the choices we make today, in the care we offer to the land, in the love we show for all living beings, and in the world we leave for those yet to come. Thank you for watching this video. May we all have the courage to choose the sacred path. May we all walk in balance and beauty for the sake of the next 7 generations.